It's time to Nerdfights. Working culture collides in a world full of thrills with the filtered opinions. They said ignite the debates that down to opinions and debates that ignite. Mr. Know-it-all, yeah, he's alright, bringing you the latest in movie shows and all things tight. But hold on to your war course, don't let him slip, cause the real captain here is SaltyTrekker on this ship. Navigating the cosmos, pop culture's delight. Debating what's nerdy, we keeping it tight. You know what that means, so don't lose sight. It's time to fight. Nerdfights. Navigating the cosmos, pop culture's delight. Debating what's nerdy, we keeping it tight. You know what that means, so don't lose sight. It's time to fight. Nerdfights. 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 Nerdfights, Nerdfights. Let's battle it out, bring the heat tonight. It's time to Nerdfight. Nerdfight.
Y'all know what it is. It's Friday night. Time to get your nerd on. We got Mr. Know-it-all, the SaltyTrekker and Danny Dorkknight. Are y'all ready? Aight, here we go. If you're looking for me, you know where to find me. Cause tonight is going down. On Friday night, we have nerd fights. It's on tonight. On Friday night, we have nerd fights. It's on tonight. On Friday night, we have nerd fights. It's on tonight. On Friday night, we have nerd fights. It's on tonight.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Nerd Fights. Of course, I am your host, Mr. Know-it-all, and joining me is the motley crew of we'll go clockwise. SaltyTrekker, who's an empty chair, but he will be there shortly. Then
I'm not an empty chair. I'm trying to get my stupid camera working and just decided to die.
You're good.
I can tell the difference.
Yeah,
Danny
of course
Dorkknight
you
is
can.
here, and then Laura, working from the construction site, is also here. So, yeah, man, everybody, we're going to be doing a fun show tonight. It's literally just going to be straight up jumping right in to the fun that is Starfleet Academy's finale. So, if that's what you came for, yeah, that's what we're doing. We're doing that, and got lots of thoughts and opinions all the way around. But of course, see how waiting for everybody to kind of get themselves all situated so we can enjoy this conversation. I know that Danny has some thoughts. I know Laura's got some thoughts. I'm pretty sure Salty has thoughts. He just doesn't share them with us all the time. So, yeah, man, it's going to be one of those fun ones. So hopefully you guys have an opportunity to follow us on all the things. We're going to be live tonight. Hey, there's MJ. What's going on, MJ? Good to see you. And then, so on top of viewing on the YouTubes, we're also streaming on my X as well as that's all happening on my X, I promise.
So yeah,
that sounded a lot dirtier than you meant it.
Yeah. What are you doing to your ex exactly?
And then we have Max Headroom underneath me over here. How's it going, brother?
Yo.
That's the best. I don't think I've ever been this close to you. Like, you're like right there. That's amazing. But
Sorry, I'm good.
No, you're good. You're good.
Hey, I'm letting you get the up close version. Hold on, I can. Let's see. Here we go. I'll be all the way back here. Does that make it better?
No, don't do that.
So, how's your mom doing, Danny?
Man,
Hi everyone.
Hey.
So how is your mom doing, Danny?
Yeah.
Last I heard, she's doing fine. You just made me feel really guilty because I realized I haven't talked to her in a couple of days, and I usually talk to her every day.
That's why I was asking you about that. She mentioned that last time we discussed it. Well, Know-it-all was there too.
Right.
No, right on.
I think so. The term "ran through" came up a couple of times.
Jeez, wow. Man, I'll tell you what.
Wow.
No, for real.
Wow.
Let's just never mind.
She had this view too, though. So I guess it kind of makes sense.
Nice.
And she did have a mountain.
Well, it was more like this view for her.
Yeah,
We're getting off topic anyway.
So yeah, I don't need to know more. Whew, man, oh man, we're just getting off to a record start here.
I mean, last time he was starting all kinds of fights with me, so I thought I'd come out punching.
Well,
I'd be the first.
I'd like to actually try to get to the episode discussion today, to be honest. Salty, you all right?
Yeah, and just like I said, I'm messing with the. Every now and then, this stupid. There we go. It finally kicked in. It just messes up.
Just get a picture of yourself looking down in a chair, and it's the same thing.
It freezes immediately.
But I'm telling you, man, just get a picture of you looking down in the chair with your eyes closed. It'll be the exact same thing.
You jerk. You are absolutely the worst. Come on. You were just connected.
Mama, to be exact, to answer the question, Mama. Not
that's
Mommy.
what I.
That's a little bit official.
I call her Mama. That's what I call her.
I know. She asked me to do that for some reason. It was really weird. I don't. It's whatever. She's like, that's what Danny calls me.
I set him up for you, and you just knock him down, man.
I do. Good. Thank you. We're a good team.
We work out. Knocking her down. So.
Wow.
It works on 2 levels.
Well, speaking of
something, Mr. Know-It-All.
Yeah. Oh no! Hey! I'm just the cameraman. So,
that's what you were doing.
Right.
Yeah. So we were talking to Danny's mom. It's really.
I don't know
if
you noticed.
He's a good cinematographer.
After last week, the original Dorkknight had to be replaced by the mirror version of the Dorkknight.
Oh, nice! Yeah, totally. Because you got real aggressive suddenly. I was like, right on, bro.
Rocking the evil pirate goatee. The spot.
What is going on there? Here. What is happening there, Salty? What's going on?
Oh, I'm sorry. I need to show you the power of math here in a minute.
Oh, God.
Oh, good. I thought we were going to talk about Star Trek. I'm really glad we're going to focus on whatever the hell you're talking about.
Well, I am talking about Star Trek.
Can you tell us how many electrons are in an atom? I'd love that. Can you give us more of that?
Well, it depends on what kind of atom you're talking about.
Whatever atom you want to talk about.
Well, that's actually kind of funny. You should mention that because I want to talk about the Omega atom. Apparently,
the Omega molecule, the Omega 47.
Yeah,
I thought it was 42.
They either call it a molecule or an atom, depending on the line of dialogue, which I really don't like that it goes back and forth. It would make more sense if it's supposed to be some kind of primordial thing that it's an atom as opposed to a molecule is a combination of atoms. Mm-hmm. But
Preacher, I believe firmly that we are not. They do not teach anything there at Starfleet Academy. They simply just kind of exist and go through things.
Right?
They do acting. They teach theater there.
Yeah. Why? We don't know.
Well, and some rare fuel apparently that with the invention of dilithium, we need fuel for things. So there's that.
Well, I can understand the need for fuel for the fusion reactors. But so anyway, so I was doing a little bit of math, and in order to...
So you were using the power of math?
I was.
You didn't hurt yourself, did you?
Mind you, the power of math. I mean, the power of math is more Danny's thing. Let's see. 1.1.
Every version of the Dorkknight hates Wesley Crusher, so you don't worry about that.
It's the one constant in the multiverse.
It is, yes. Shut up, Wesley.
Hey, Wesley's he hops the universes in time and stuff now. Chances are he's pissed off Dorkknight in every one of them.
All right, so when we're measuring the mass of atoms and molecules, the units of measurement for weight is usually extremely tiny. Like we're talking about because it's like a billionth of a gram kind of thing when you're talking about the measurement of how much does an electron weigh.
Are you freaking eating a pizza on
I'm listening. This is some riveting stuff. Right. So I had to.
To be fair, I'm eating Mike and Ike's also. So we're all eating something.
Well, I'm not yet. I'll be eating right after we're done. But so E equals MC squared, everybody knows that. That's how you get how much mass you need to get energy. If you're to annihilate everything in a 1 light year radius, keep in mind, the Omega molecule supposedly will detonate everything in several light years. But
Yeah.
if you just want to detonate something with a 1 light year radius, you need 1.1 times 10 to the 30th kilograms to be the weight of the molecule. Wow, you don't have to be a complete jerk about it.
Look, man, ignorance is bliss. This is why I
No.
think I enjoy
Well,
this
you
show
see,
more
here's
than you
what's-
guys.
This is why I hate things like the Omega molecule. I thought it
Why?
was
Because two people hug?
It's a MacGuffin. No, he hates it because it's a MacGuffin.
well,
And
and
it's one of
because
those
they
things that's like,
try
they
to
just-
say that it's science when it's anti-science. Because there's no way you could have a single molecule that weighs 55% of the mass of the sun.
Salty.
This is some riveting shit.
Yeah, Salty, you do realize this is fiction, right?
It's science fiction.
Yeah, listen, it's science fiction. We want some real stuff, like on the second episode of the original series where they go back in time. Some real science fiction shit, okay?
Yeah.
or big giant or like alien heads that look paper mache-ish. We want that stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
Or a dog with a unicorn on it.
I don't know.
The unicorn dog.
What are those aliens called in the cage in the menagerie with the big?
Telosians.
Oh, their heads look like my right testicle, which is going to be removed in a couple weeks. So that's not good.
I don't know that I needed to. Now all I can see is a little dangling Pelosian. Why is that a thing? No, but
They
okay,
are really
so listen.
veiny.
All right, so listen.
But only your right
You're like,
testicle. Your left testicle looks nothing like that. It looks like James's face, right?
Okay, so I think
Back
that
to
for
the show.
the episode primarily, primarily the episode, for me, I land in one very simple place because we're going to do some hot takes now. Since everybody just wants to kind of talk about nonsense, I'm going to talk about the show.
Thank you.
And I will give you guys permission. I will bring you back on the show when we start talking about the show.
Thank you.
So right now, my biggest issue at the moment with this episode was it was full of things, lots of pretty things to look at. Ooh, look, this thing's happening. Ooh, look, that thing's happening. And I'm sitting here going, wait a minute. I'm supposed to feel something for all of these things that are happening. Yet at no point was I able to connect a dot to whatever the thing was that I'm supposed to be feeling because there's no history. They don't actually build anything in terms of the story or the history of these events or characters for me to ultimately care about. So at the end of the day, I watched this episode and I kept seeing all these victory laps. And I'm like, wait a minute. So you guys all solved each other's interpersonal problems in like a split second? The example I gave Dorkknight before we started the show was the same thing with Sam. Genesis walks in. Sam, after one mention last episode of wanting to move rooms, so then she apparently is having issues because her dad's incapacitated, which we can get to that whenever you guys want. And then Genesis runs in to console her friend and be there for her friend after her victory moment, which, by the way, completely unearned. And then her and Sam have this hard moment where Sam's like, I'm not that person. And she's like, but you really went with that time with the thing and you remember the thing. She's like, yeah, I guess maybe I am still that person inside. I love you. I love you too. Big hugs. And that's it. And her problem, her trauma, solved. This was a giant trauma solve all day. Everything was trauma solved. And I'm like, what is this show even? I have fully come to the dark side that this is not a good show. It was a show that had some...
Wow, not a good show, really.
I was able to find a couple of good moments throughout the season, but at the end of the day, I was hardcore waiting. Don't get me wrong. I'm going to self-torture myself next season to see if they learned anything. I doubt it, because I'm fairly certain next season is going to be the last one. So anybody who's worried about them getting a third season, no. That is in no way, shape, or form happening. But either way, this is not a good show, and I've come to that conclusion finally. Thoughts, lies? Go for it, guys.
Well, who's next? Since you took the screen.
Go for it. You want to go next?
All right. So everything that Mr. Know-It-All just said is a blatant lie. This was the best episode of the season by far. This episode had me literally gave me tears of joy, and I have to say I haven't felt this emotional at the end of an episode of Star Trek in a very, very long time. Now, you might be wondering what moment in particular. Well, the moment that gave me the tears of joy was watching the end credits, knowing that the season was over.
That's awesome.
Because, this show is beyond I mean, everything they said in this episode was as much of a lie as what I was accusing Mr. Know-It-All of earlier. Because he was like, oh, yeah, Jaden, we've had this intense relationship where we've done this and this, but now I feel a brotherhood with you. It's like, what are you talking about? You didn't show us any of that. There was just... And by the way, did anybody catch the fact that the doctor knew how to solve the problem from day one, apparently, which is why they gave him space dementia? Because all he had to do was tell them how to solve the problem, and they all solved the problem.
Space dementia, huh?
Well, actually, it's space aphasia if you want to get technical. But
Sure.
yeah, but the doctor, because all of a sudden he's talking like Darmok and they can't figure out what he's saying, but then he's actually telling them exactly how to, deal with the Omega molecule. And then Sam, who is apparently a living program, can't make an algorithm fast enough because why not?
She has to write it still.
No, she doesn't. She should just be able to transmit it to the computer. There's no need for her to write anything.
Wasn't she inventing it up at the moment as she went? I mean, that's almost like saying the doctor should just be able to know the cures for everything. He can reference it, but he has to be able to. Ultimately, he still has to put things together. He can't just make a thing. He has to know what he's trying to make. I don't know. Whatever.
Well, I'm just saying, if she knows how to make the algorithm, which she did, then there should be no pressure while she's trying to create this program and make it work, because she already knows how to do it. She should just interface with the computer and do it. And I get it that they're trying to build tension, but the problem is that they haven't spent any time developing these characters for me to feel tension over. The funny, and then you have this trial where you have Barack Obama and Holly Hunter and She-Hulk are all in this trial.
It sounds like a joke.
Who's Barack Obama in this?
Yeah, there wasn't a black person in there.
The what's his name? The Klingon.
The Klingerite?
Yeah, Klingerite.
He wasn't.
He's
not black.
No, his name is Nazbraka. So he's on Baraka.
Yeah. Sorry, Braka.
Hey.
Oh, there it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
but they're going through this trial, and don't get me wrong, I think Paul Giamatti and Holly Hunter, and I'm sorry I can't remember her name. Was it Tatiana? Whatever it is.
Tatiana Maslany. Yeah.
Yeah, Tatiana. I think all of them did a bang-up job with their line delivery, but it felt like they were in 3 different shows. Like there was no consistency between them. And by the way, why the hell was Tatiana, all ready to have, to burn the Federation and execute Holly Hunter when, 5 minutes beforehand, Holly was explaining to her super secret trick that they used to keep her son alive, and she's okay with it. I mean, she just saved her son's life, but she's going to fry her.
Yeah, but she probably just didn't. She doesn't trust her, man. Like if anything, I thought it was a little jarring how by the end of the episode. Well, I'll get to that later. Anyways.
No, you're right, because then all of a sudden, She-Hulk loves the Federation.
Yeah, that was a little
just
unearned,
because they proved that Barack lied about the color of the explosion being from the Federation, because the Federation only apparently uses blue and white technology now, not red technology.
No, the red was I think what she was referring to was because at least I mean, look, I'm mad about certain things, but you can't just make stuff up. And by that I mean they at least explain that the ore.
No, I'm fine with that.
Red and is volatile.
Right.
Well, that's where the idea of red comes from.
No, if this were a court case and that was the big thing, that the big reveal, I would be fine with it. I actually kind of like that part. The problem is I don't buy anything of the reactions of people. I don't buy that She-Hulk went from ready to burn the Federation to the ground to being, hey, I'm so proud of my son being in Starfleet Academy.
I'll agree with that. I'll agree with that. For sure.
I don't buy for a second that all these aliens that were literally cheering for him surrounding the Federation in these massive weapons that couldn't possibly exist anyway. They're all cheering that on, and then they find out he lied about the bombing, and they're all like, "Oh, I'm out."
Okay, so that's a little bit of a simplification. I don't like this episode by any. Well, no, hold on. I'll wait till I go.
So
I would say that they more didn't like the fact that an unstable person had like a mega bomb that could ultimately destroy their livelihoods.
Right, and they were all okay with it.
Yeah, so him being shown to be insane and not like clearly thinking would give them pause. I don't know that all of them would instantly leave, but I understand them like not trusting him after what she pointed out.
All right, so are you doing your hot take now, Laura? Is that where we're at?
That's fine.
Oh yeah, sorry, we're on your schedule, Danny. I apologize about that. So anyway, I want to say that when I was watching this, it honestly reminds me of Undiscovered Country. I really enjoyed a lot of the things that went on. It was a shift. And when you see people like become better than they are, I really got the distinct impression that kind of like in Undiscovered Country where Kirk changes and he goes from one thing to another, you finally see the final transformation. I do think that when she sits in the chair, it's really reminiscent of when, Kirk takes command at the end. I love the fact that there was a lot of hugging and emotional music. And I think that when you watch, I think it's a remade Undiscovered Country.
Yeah, I could see that it's kind of an abbreviated version.
Complete with the court scene. Yeah, I can kind of see that.
Yeah, see, there was even a court scene in there and everything.
I hate you so much.
Yeah.
And by the way, I love the fact that on the in the court, which was just the atrium set, they literally have fires burning everywhere the entire time. Like, how much wood did they get from that stupid tree?
So the other
Did you notice the words were wrong in the background too? It was like no change or something, and it was supposed to be. I forget what it was supposed to be, but it was misspelled in the background, which makes me think they used an AI picture or AI resolution on that, because AI does that to me a lot.
I really dug the fact that half the footage looked like it should have been on Fox News.
Did you like the drone too? I like them using the drone because that's what.
The drone camera, yeah, a little.
The drone camera,
yeah. It's a hero.
My issue was this episode begins literally within minutes of the previous episode, and so and they don't really they don't even tell you like, oh, it's been 3-4 days or we've been running away from whoever, like none of that. So all of a sudden, the atrium goes from being an atrium that it was to being vandalized. When did they have time to do that? Look, I get that the production team clearly wanted that visual because I'm sure the concept art had it that way. But like, did no director think that, hey, you know what, guys, we need to establish the time shift somewhere because how did this happen? No, of course not, because they don't care. They just want the artistic look of it.
The other thing I loved was at the beginning, you remind me. So the side of the ship like just explodes and like cleans all of their cloths. So here's the thing that gets me. It's either one of two things happening. Either there was like a plasma conduit or something extremely dangerous that would explode when they were under fire, which no one decided to question or think about. Or that was a direct hit to the bridge, and there should be a hole to space right there. One of those two things. You can't, like, that is such the most massive security and safety concern if there is something that can just explode to that extent to the right of them.
To be fair, Lauren, you know this, all Starfleet consoles all the way back to the original series are rigged to explode at the slightest amount of damage and throw rocks in the face of the person operating.
So you know what? That's a good point. It's been 900 years, so instead of consoles, it's just entire walls that explode now.
Yeah, so it's improved technology.
It is. It's advanced.
It's Explodium 2.0.
Wow. That's awesome. Explodium.
And by the way, Mike was talking about how Discovery, Discovery starting, I don't remember, I think it was like season 2 or 3. Every time they took damage, they had like these flamethrowers installed at the columns of the bridge, and they would always go off in sequence. And it was so stupid looking because it's just like, oh, cue the flamethrower. It looked like pyrotechnics at a rock concert.
No, so Michael, here's the thing. So they lost the technology due to the burn, but what they actually did was they fused it so that when everything exploded, it went through those specific flamethrowers.
Okay.
That way, you rarely saw the explosions on the console.
But that happened before they went to the future.
No, so what you have to understand is it's timey-wimey, so things aren't necessarily in order, even though we see it. You just have to remember timey-wimey. So just because the Discovery come before literally any other ship we see doesn't mean that it doesn't have more advanced technology than the ships we've seen.
Okay.
And that's because it went into the future. Because if you go into the future, you automatically impact the past. That is called the Abrams paradox.
I thought it was called the spaghettification of time that we saw in the plot.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. Spaghettification.
Wasn't that also in the Superman or whatever? Or the Flash. You're right. Never mind.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The Flash, Batman's pile of spaghetti is the timeline. Yeah, that does actually more properly explain it. I think Bat spaghetti.
All right, so listen. Now that you guys have had your fun, Danny, would you like an opportunity, please, sir, to have your hot take?
Yes, thank you.
Right.
Wait, I got one question for you though, Danny, as you get started. How many times did you cry?
In this episode, none, actually. None at all.
Wow, really? I'm surprised.
Yeah, well, first of all, the hack that directed Section 31 does such a terrible job of directing and does these stupid camera angles where he like does the whole 360.
Oh my
thing.
God, I didn't even know that. Are you serious? Real quick,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm going to interrupt you. This is the guy who did Section 31?
This is
Because
the guy
that
who directed
literally
Section
explains
31.
everything. Oh my God,
Yeah.
please continue.
And it was written by Alex Kurtzman. So yeah. So here's the thing. First time I watched it, like I'm one of those guys. The reason I don't go to AA is because they don't let you smoke pot. Pot's legal. I don't drink anymore, but I might have gotten a little high before watching it the first time.
The show.
And the show, yeah. And
The show.
I actually enjoyed the first watch because I was stupid. And that's what they're writing this for. Stupid people who don't think. So ignorance is bliss. The second time I watched it is when I started nitpicking things. Now, I do like the music. I thought the score was really well. A lot of callbacks, a lot of things. Felt very Star Trek. I did like the score. I liked a couple of moments, but I'm going to, and I hate to beat a dead horse. I think this show suffers from only being 10 episodes. We went through an entire school year in 10 episodes. They're trying to give us payoffs on storylines. I think it was Mike in the chat who brought this up as a good point, that there's resolution to things that it just doesn't make sense. So upon watching it, and I like performances. In a little bit, I want to ask you guys a specific question that each of us can answer. But overall, as a whole, everything just feels rushed, feels unearned, has good moments and good little beats that I like, and it tricks me. But upon rewatching most of these episodes, I mean, it's not Discovery levels bad. I couldn't even finish watching Discovery. But yeah, man, it's just, unfortunately, it's not a good, I hate to admit this, just not a good show. And I like it, which is weird. This is like a paradox, but it's not good. That's my hot take. There you go. Sorry about that.
All right. Well, I want to challenge one thing you said there, Danny.
Yeah.
I think this show is worse than Discovery.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I do too. I could watch Discovery all day versus this, especially starting at season 3 all day. All day.
Season 3 is when I quit watching.
Because all the stuff with Pike and Spock was good in season 2.
Yeah.
But Discovery, at least, even for all its faults, for all the crap, at least Discovery was telling a cohesive story. It wasn't a good story, especially in season 1, but it was a story you could follow. What's the story of this season?
Well, the overall arc from episode 1 to the final episode was Caleb looking for his mom.
Okay,
and
tell me
Braca
anything
wanted
Tell me
revenge.
anything in between episode 1 and episode 9 that has to do with that arc.
Well, exactly. You're right. I'm agreeing with you.
Right. So, no, it doesn't tell a story. It just has things happen. Like Mr. Know-It-All was saying, a lot of things happen. And it was a lot of unearned, oh my gosh, we have gone through this together. But we didn't actually see them go through this together at all. Well, hello, Laura, you've changed. But wait. There's a problem. Hold on. I call foul. She's got a shirt on.
Stop it right now.
She can't just be naked all the time.
She can. She really can.
Oh my God! What
Was this the naked lady from last week?
Oh my
Hi.
God!
Yes.
Hi.
And I'm not naked, by the way. Just set the record straight.
It's okay. You know what? We approve of you being naked.
I'm done. You're done.
I'm not naked. I'm just
Lord.
half naked.
Well done, Laura. I mean, wow, way to
God,
punch above your
guys.
weight class. Pretty wife. Nice job, man.
Laura punches
Thank
above this
you.
weight class because she's female. So, and I'm not saying that I'm not. I mean, I know I'm punching way above my weight class with Bridget. So that's.
So, can I ask you guys just a couple? Because I'm just curious to know.
By the way, Laura, she is lovely, and she should. But I think she should be naked.
I agree. So before you ask your question, because I want you to ask your question, I'm gonna let you finish. Okay? But how'd you guys like that double movie title? The double titles that happened. First, we got the regular title for the show, and then they decided to do it again.
Starfleet Academy, like it's dumb.
Well, again, I think that was a director's choice, and this guy directed Section 31, and I was talking a little bit to Mr. Noel about it. It was trying to have more of a cinematic feel, which is, whatever, director choice. I don't think any of us were fans of that. But I do want to try to see if I can get you guys to say anything positive. Did you guys, so 2 questions. One, what did you guys think of the score overall this season, the musical score? And then
Didn't care.
You didn't care? Laura, did you like it at all? Or
I think I don't watch Star Trek for the score. If I'm being honest, it was fine. I didn't really pay that much attention to it, to be honest.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
I'm a big music guy.
When I think about a great score, I think about Star Trek 2. Right, Star Trek.
Oh, James Horner, I have that on vinyl.
Well, it's not just that it's James Horner; it's just that score. I think is James Horner's best score, and I think it's one of the best scores in cinematic history.
I would agree, but I'd also challenge that First Contact by Jerry Goldsmith is an amazing score.
No, it's not. First Contact is a crap score to me.
I love that score.
Because you know what? I can listen to any piece of music from the Star Trek 2 score and know exactly what scene that's from.
I think we've done that before. Haven't we did that a few years ago?
I mean, it's so easy. You can play like a 10-second clip and you can see the Reliant closing in.
Yeah, I remember we did this years ago, bro.
You can see the Enterprise rising up behind the Reliant because he uses a very strong and specific music cue for powerful moments. In this, but here's the big problem with a show like this. There are no powerful moments, so even if the score is the greatest score in the history of scores, it's not accentuating anything. It's just good music layered on top of crap.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like, the music doesn't enhance one of the reasons why I didn't pay attention to it is because nothing was working together. Nothing was coming together.
I guess they got me because the score was chock full of member berries, lots of callbacks from different Star Trek eras, and that's probably what got me. Mr. Know-It-All, do you have any opinion on the score before I ask the next question?
Well, before he finishes it, I just want to point that out. The only
remotely care.
Before he finishes it, I want to point out what you just said. The only reason it meant anything to you is because it reminded you of other Star Trek episodes.
No,
other
exactly.
Star Trek.
Yeah,
it does seem consistent.
Yeah, it's fair. That's
Right.
fair. So then again, in the effort, and this will be my last effort to try to do this, to be somewhat positive or bring you guys into the
Sure.
light a little. Over the entire season, did you have a favorite? And you know, this is. Did you have a favorite character? Like, who was your favorite character?
Paul Giamatti was my favorite character.
See, that was mine too. Okay, yeah. Laura?
Sam
was your favorite? Okay. New Sam or old Sam or just overall Sam?
I was being as sarcastic as possible. Was there a character I liked? I like the Dax character.
Tawny Newsom's character from
I would say of main characters, Aki, whatever her name was all right.
Yeah,
and I guess, Aki.
Which one's
The
Aki?
chick.
Holly Hunter.
Holly Hunter.
That's what I said.
Holly Hunter.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you said Paul. I thought you said Paul Giamatti. I was like, no.
Paul Giamatti was my favorite, but
I know.
Yeah, mine too.
And sometimes I liked Caleb, the main character.
I actually enjoyed Reno in this better than in Discovery. I thought she was.
I thought she shined in this finale episode. I liked her.
She makes a good captain.
Yeah.
The only thing I thought was really cool about her, funny, because I'm into stupid nonsense like this. Anytime the show is consistent in any way, shape, or form, I'm like, ooh, was the fact that she talks about, so this is what it's like to be stranded alone with nobody and still manage to you have to figure out how to survive, because that's literally how they found her.
She had some great lines. Like I really like, hey, this is your final exam. If you pass, we save everybody. If you fail, we all die.
Yeah.
I was like, right on.
She was good, but Paul Giamatti, man, every scene he's in, you know,
he shoots the scenery better than anybody but Shatner. You know, he really does.
Yeah.
And I actually, like, there were moments like when she questioned him in the trial about the weapons, and you could kind of see him suddenly have doubt, because that was the acting expertise of Giamatti, because you could see it without him saying it.
Yeah.
And so I really did like
kind of
that.
like a look of worry on his face. Yeah.
But and to be fair, remember, I opened my whole thing up with that this was the best episode of the series and praised it highly because the end credit. First of all, by the way, the end credits with the kids' pictures and stuff, that is totally unearned.
What is that?
You didn't like the Doctor as a kid?
I didn't care. That's the thing, is that if these were, I mean, granted, I like Robert Picardo and all that, but as far as all the kids, I don't care about their characters. So, like, if we were watching Star Trek VI and we see the signatures up on the screen, if they had showed a picture of young William Shatner and young Nichelle and all that with their signatures, that would have been very nice. However, that's because we're talking about characters that we cared about. This didn't have, the only reason I cared about Reno was because she was an established character from before, and I actually liked her sarcasm.
That's what I mean. Like, the only thing consistent was like stupid stuff like that.
Yeah,
I was like, wow.
And Laura, you just salty. You kind of proved Laura's point a little bit. You just made another Star Trek VI comparison.
Well, yeah, it is a Star Trek VI ripoff, but the thing is, and so there's a difference between homage and ripoff. This is ripoff.
Yeah.
Ripoff is you're just trying to let's grab this thing from Star Trek VI and do it again, as opposed to homage. Like, we see homage in, for example, in Star Trek II. There's a lot of homage to Space Seed. Right? And for good reason. Khan is the bad guy. But like little things like when Chekhov looks at the bookshelf, and if you look carefully, there's Paradise Lost, which is the book that was quoted at the end of Space Seed. You know, and so little things like that, that's great. But when you just shove it in your face and say, hey, look at the member berries, I don't give a crap.
Do you think it was a ripoff or homage when Tarima and Caleb basically did what Deanna Troi did in the final episode of Picard season 3? You use her mind to find. Remember, like, Troi was like, I can find them because of her link to Riker.
She should have just killed everybody.
Yeah.
That's what, if she has the power to fry people with her brain, why didn't she just kill Paul Giamatti right then and there?
Good Good point.
So,
Mr. Know-It-All, I let you out of the first question. Come on. You got to have a favorite character in this show that nobody likes.
I mean, to be honest, I think Sam's probably the only character that now I like, this version of her.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right on.
That's real. That's the only thing I can think of. Because
I like the new Sam better than the old Sam. Definitely.
Agreed.
Yeah. Okay.
Laura, go ahead. No, you're muted.
You're muted, Laura.
I was talking all kinds of shit. I'm sorry you guys didn't hear that. First off, who hurt you as a child? Know-It-All. That's the first thing I was said. But beyond that, I mean, I like a broken arm better than I like a bullet in the head. I mean, just because you like something better doesn't make it good.
I know. That's what I know.
I agree with that.
I'll tell you what I do like. Maybe you disagree with the burn and everything that happened, but it is canon. It happened. So I like when they actually lore build on that. So when Aki was talking about the fact, hey, we can't help everybody. We want to help everybody. You were in a bad space, but at least you could sell stuff. At least you were traders, I like the fact that they kind of went into that. I think that was pretty all right.
I thought that the fact that they had the opening sequence from episode 1 take place before the Discovery showed up and saved everybody, so that we actually did have scarcity once again. That was, and we got to get a feel for the effects of the burn on people. I did think that was good. That was a great idea, but it was a great idea that had no follow through.
Well, that's what this show had, a lot of great ideas. But
oh my god!
But they
that's all it was, though.
That's exactly.
So here's why we all don't like it. So first thing, let me speak about that. I did some research into it. Originally, one of the advantages of the mycelium network is because it was green. It did not impact subspace, but all of a sudden now it has an issue with it when the plot needs it to. But beyond that,
Vance said it could. No, Vance said it could, and they didn't want to risk it. He did say could. If you go back and watch the scene, he does say could. Not to nip, not trying to argue, just saying,
It's like, hey, so Vance was basically like, look, hey, I know that the science literally says that this doesn't impact subspace, that it is literally a green way of doing things, but it is quite possible that it could explode. There's also the possibility that it could open up a alternate universe to specific unicorns that will murder us all. We just don't know, so we don't want to use it. We have to be careful because fucking murder hobo unicorns could come out of an alternate universe.
We already have glitter puke, so why not unicorns that kill people?
I like the idea of hobo unicorns. I want to see that.
Yeah,
I think that was a better MacGuffin than what we got.
Yeah, well, because my thing with the quantum whatever bombs is that besides the fact that Omega is supposed to be this uber powerful atom molecule particle thing. They say that he surrounded the entire Federation. I know the Federation is not as big as it was at its peak, but he surrounded the entire Federation with these bombs. Even if the Federation was just Earth, Beta Z, and whatever they call Vulcan now, even if that was all of it, which we know there's more to it than that, it would take tens of thousands of these bombs to completely surround it in every direction. And you would have to travel what would take at warp drive years to go to all these places to place these bombs.
That's a great point. And they did it in days or
weeks? He did it in an afternoon. It made no sense.
And none of the Federation didn't detect any of the ships dropping these mines off at any point in time.
So I'm not defending it, but I will say that isn't something that has happened. The Klingons attempted. It's much smaller, but the Klingons attempted to mine Bajor, like all of the Bajoran space, in one episode. I'm not defending it. That was stupid too when they discovered that the Klingons were attempting to mine Bajor, all of Bajor.
Well, we're all another
mining the wormhole entrance was fine. That makes sense. But yeah, you can't mine a planetary system.
And that's what Klingons. No, it wasn't even that. It was Bajoran space. It was outside of their system. The Klingons.
Yeah, just the Bejor system. So another thing, since we're talking about these kind of nitpicks from previous, like Voyager, I don't know how well versed we all are. I don't remember. I apologize. But in
Voyager
Voyager,
show?
no, in the Omega Directive, the colony that was trying to turn the Omega molecule into a power source, and by the end of the episode, Seven gets to see it be stabilized, but Janeway still jettisons it out into space and destroys it because it's much too dangerous. So I'm supposed to believe, I get it, it's like 800, 900 years later. Now the Federation has completely changed their mind on that after they robbed some other civilization of being able to do this exact same thing that Ake claims that's what we were trying to do with the Omega molecule, was make a power supply. That
Right.
was, I don't know. What did you think? Did anybody else have that thought when she said that?
Okay,
You know,
so here's what I thought about that. I actually bought it because keep in mind, this is not the original Omega particle. It's whatever Omega 47 is. They're trying to make a stable version of it. And the thing is that this research that Aki was well aware of and probably participated in to some extent happened post-burn, pre-discovery. They were desperate for power sources.
Okay. See, I try to not remember Discovery.
So yeah, I'm
I hated
okay
it so
with
much.
that because desperate times. That's how I would explain.
Okay.
Well, I mean, what I would,
Mr.
What I
Nodal,
would
please.
say-
You haven't been, Lord. Mr. Nodal hasn't really talked a lot. What were you about to say?
yeah, that's cool. I was just trying to talk. It's fine. Go ahead, Mr. Nodal.
You've done enough talking, sir. Mr. Nodal.
That's
what
all
were you
right.
gonna say?
Hey, can you talk to us about the Omega Directive? Have you seen that? Have you seen that show? That episode? No. Danny, I didn't know if you'd watched the Omega particle.
He watched it last week a couple of times. Remember, we heard last week he watched it.
You guys are so
Keep
bad
muting me,
about
baby.
it.
Mute me all you want. Keep doing it, Danny. Do it. Do it again. Mute me, baby.
I just wanted to know what Mr. Nodal was going to say. That's all.
I know. So mute me. Here, I'll mute myself. I'm sorry.
I think honestly, I think the Omega Directive thing was silly from the get, especially because they bring it up because they want to pull on that particular thread, only to then have the easiest fix of all time. Why would you ruin something for the sake of not even giving it a worthwhile solution?
Entire collective of the Borg couldn't figure out how to stabilize this, and the Doctor somehow magically knows how to do it.
Let me just say, for the record, go back and watch last week's episode of Nerdfights. This is exactly what I predicted. That they're going to come up with some BS hand-wavy way to deal with the situation.
You did.
And that's exactly what they did. This is par for the course for this show. This show has no consequences for anything.
Again, this goes back to Alex Kurtzman wrote this episode.
Well, so it's not an Alex Kurtzman thing. This show has had this the whole way. So it's not just the fact that Alex Kurtzman.
Well, he's the showrunner, but he was the one that got the credit. The teleplay credit for this specific episode.
But I'm just saying, I don't think this is a Alex Kurtzman problem. This is a modern writing problem, and this, this episode is just another in a line of episodes where they come up with some interesting problem, and then they hand wave a solution, and there's no consequences. Somebody explain to me why a convicted murderer who escaped prison is now walking around free at the end of the episode.
She wasn't convicted of murder. She was convicted of felony theft, not murder.
She was an accessory to murder. That's why she went to the rehabilitation camp.
What were you going to say, Laura?
She escaped.
I don't want to be muted again. I'm going to be a good boy.
I'm sorry.
No, don't worry. I muted Danny. Go for it.
I want to be a good boy. I don't want to be muted again. So if there's one thing Star Trek is known for, is not fixing an issue within 60 minutes, for sure. They don't instantly hand wave for every not franchise, but every series that's happened.
Well,
I'll say this. Let me say one other thing because I've been waiting like a good boy. The other thing I would say is that I don't necessarily have an issue with the Federation creating this Omega molecule or whatever, because they always They're hypocritical, and they always do stuff like this. In DS9, they wanted to, I wouldn't say ally, but be friends with a slaver state that had specifically genetically created and enslaved 2 different species and enslaved an entire quadrant. The only time they wanted to go to war was when they were in trouble, when they might actually be taken over. They had issues with people being genetically modified, yet had specific stations where they genetically modified children. Right. I mean, they did stuff like this all the time. So this is consistent.
Let me counter that a little bit, Laura. Is you're right in that you can find episodes in pretty much every series where the resolution is meh at best and where they hand wave away major problems. Absolutely. However, this entire series was just that. Because every other series of Trek also has episodes that have them coming up with ingenious and clever solutions to big problems, like the Doomsday Machine.
They also had 26. They also had 26 episodes.
It's not the number of episodes, though, Dave. I know you're hung up on that, but you know what? If you did 9 great episodes, then you could. Awesome. But they did 9 losers because every single episode and the series as a whole just had hand-wavy solutions to everything.
So 9, what was the good episode?
Well, 10 episodes.
Danny, wait, relax, man. Okay, I know you're aggressively wanting to hear your own voice talk right now. Calm the F down. Okay, my big problem at the moment I have is that I just watched, and again, I'm not getting into a yelling match with you about this, so don't get on with me, Salty. I just watched Picard season 3 because my wife and I love rewatching it. It's what got her into Star Trek. That show is massively overstuffed, but it all works. They managed to convincingly tell you a story that makes sense from A to B. Whether you like those elements or not, at least it carries along, and you see I can follow along very easily. And so when payoffs happen, I get it. I get where they're coming from. I understand the concept behind it. And that was, guess what? Only so many episodes. Now you come to so don't give me, you can, it is possible to tell a coherent story in 9 episodes that makes some sort of sense. In fact, I have a video coming out next week about that exact very thing, which is where I'm rewriting on my channel. I'm going to do what would a version of Starfleet Academy using only the elements that they have in the show that works look like. And I'm telling you right now, there is a version of this show that would have worked in 9 episodes. The problem is they don't care. They're in it for the points. And points meaning the different period that, oh, here's this thing and this thing and this thing. Oh, and by the way, now here's the wonderful resolution to everything. Aren't you satisfied? No, I'm not. Because you've thrown us these weird crumbs that don't add up. Nothing. The math didn't math when it came to this whole thing.
And so let me say this because I may be the only one on this panel that hated Picard season 3, but I will say
on the planet.
No, not on the planet.
Even Doomcock liked it, man. Come on.
I don't think Doomcock liked it. But anyway,
he did.
But here's my thing. Compared to this show, I would watch Picard season 3 24/7 for the rest of my life over watching this show, because this show just is an insult, not just to Star Trek, but to science fiction and to fiction and to television in general. It's just a bad show through and through.
So
I think the problem, the only thing I'd say is I think that the problem here, I don't disagree with you. They didn't have enough episodes to do what they were trying to do. That's not an excuse. That's just bad writing. So if it were me, what I would do is if I only had 10 episodes, then I'm picking 1 or 2 major themes, and that's what we're going on. Are we going to find Mom and fight Braca? Are we doing Braca and seeing what it's like being a part of the Starfleet Academy? Are we doing something like that? I still think you could have wrote a lot of the episodes they had, just specifically focused on those elements. And if you even wanted to do the introduction that they were trying to do for each character, you could still do it. You would just have every episode focused on them towards whatever goal they had. So, like as I said, for me, they should have episode 9 should have been episode 1, and then you should, like we've said before, and then you have them half of the series find mom. So the first 5 episodes is finding mom. The last 5 episodes is fighting Baraka. Like they just needed to concise it.
And you're
I would-
backing up
yeah,
what Mr. Know-It-All said, and I wanted to say that as well. And I also think that's the difference between someone like Terry Matalas and Alex Kurtzman. And I had just rewatched Picard season 3 as well, and I love it. I absolutely love it. So I stand corrected. It shouldn't matter if it's 9 episodes, 20 episodes, whatever. If the writing's good and focused. And Laura, I absolutely agree with what you just said. And I look forward to seeing that video you're talking about, Mr. Know-It-All.
Yeah, no problem, brother.
But yeah, I would, and I know I kind of said this before, but I think the solution would be, you take episode 9 and I would make it episode 3. I would leave episode 1 and 2 pretty much alone, make episode 9 episode 3, and then you spend 2 or 3 episodes searching for, basically you spend the next few episodes looking for a solution to the problem while they're trapped outside the Federation. Then you could spend an entire episode just doing the trial thing, because I think the trial is an interesting idea. But you do the trial in an entire episode, and then when the episode ends and Barack loses the trial and he pulls out the doomsday device, that's your cliffhanger to get into the season finale. And now the finale is dealing with the man that literally has a button to destroy the universe. And so how do you deal with that?
So my thought real quick, I just want to throw this out there. I feel like when you said that the overall, like this whole idea of see, you called him Barack, and it literally just blew me away.
I'm sorry.
But no, you're good. You're good. When you're dealing with that case thing, that's classic Star Trek stuff, and I don't just mean trials. I mean that's how you do that. Whole thing could have been the messaging that people want, talking about socio-political things happening today. You mirror those events. That's what good science fiction does. It says, here's a scenario. Mind you, in Star Trek, it's usually Starfleet who's observing those events, but this show does it differently. That's fine. So, but either way, you take the opportunity to that's where you question authority, and you talk about the underdogs and people who are on the periphery of a big organization like the Federation. And now you're doing a commentary. You're doing a commentary about world policing, about whether people should be involved, the suffering of innocence in third world country, whatever. Like, that's the kind of thing you do. This show had zero interest in having anything remotely like that conversation.
Right.
This show
somewhere in there
conversation on, but it never actually wanted to do it.
I think somewhere in there you needed to write in some heroic thing for She-Hulk to do to exonerate her from her charges, because the fact that she's walking free at the end is an insult to justice.
And it's more like they just felt sorry for her. Like even Admiral Vance tried to be like, started to go in on something, and that's when Aki cuts him off, and it's like, no, we ain't got time for this. Yeah,
it sucks. But you know what? The funny thing is during the trial, when Holly Hunter started talking about, and by the way, that was a great piece of testimony, when she's talking about the details of the guy that was killed. Right?
Yes, that was
to humanize him. And you could see that on Tatiana's face. Again, she's a good actress. She knows what she's doing. And so you could see the guilt feeling on her, so that either at the end, she should be willing to go to the rehab colony, or she does something so heroic that she gets a presidential pardon. But,
but instead she doubles down and says, no, F the Federation, you're guilty. The Federation is like, she agrees.
Well, that made no sense.
So I disagree. I think it made sense. But what I will say is I think they had 3 great moments in there that could have been 15 minutes to an entire episode that they just threw in as one line. So the Federation had to pick and choose who it could help. It couldn't help everyone anymore. The whole I think that when he was talking about how the fuel works and everything, I think they should have advanced that. If they want to talk about how the Starfleet Academy is actually helping them and making them smarter, they should have advanced that. And then I forget the other piece. So here's what I'm going to push back on. I think there are 2 things when it comes to her damning the Federation. I think the first thing is like Know-It-All said, you first off, she has no reason to trust this woman. This woman has done nothing but made her life hell from her perspective. Whether she actually did or not doesn't matter. It's what the woman believed. The other piece is that she, just because one good thing happened doesn't mean like the Federation is great. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like if the United States carpet bombed carpet bombed a country, and they saved my child, they still carpet bombed a country. Again, from her perspective, I'm not saying she's right. I'm saying it's what she believed. So she could still believe that the Federation shouldn't exist, but still be okay that her child was saved or whatever.
Hey, why is she wearing clothes?
Well, she bent over for you if it makes you feel better.
Yeah, that was an improvement, but she should have been naked.
Yeah.
Speaking of naked, I did think it was funny that the digital dean, made that comment about honoring Beta Z traditions, including weddings, and to be sure to bring sunscreen. That was a funny little. It made me chuckle.
Is he really? Now you gotta be all careful.
You're gonna zoom in on her there. Oh, she's getting in bed.
I was waiting for her to bend over again. I was going to zoom in as soon as it did that.
So wait, you got a camera pointed at your bed?
Yes, we do. I have a naked Asian that walks around in my house. I got all kinds of cameras in this.
What is
place.
happening in this show right now?
just so we're all on the same page. I got all
everybody
kinds of
check
cameras.
out at OnlyFans/Lore Reloaded.
Yeah, no, it'd be a
And after you do that, go to
naked Asians.
nerdfightshop.com to help support the channel. I'm
Stop
going
it.
to put some more designs.
The naked Asian thongs. That's what we got now. That's
So,
a thing.
but in fairness, so I think Danny is the one who liked the episode, or actually liked the series the most. So I think, Danny, you should give us the final word on why this show deserves a second season, because I don't think it does. I hope Skydance says, screw the second season, we're done.
They've already
finished it. They've already wrapped. And
yeah, that's what I'm saying. They already wrapped on it.
The
The episode's already there.
They could just cut their losses.
The way this whole season ended could have just been it, really.
Right. But you seem to think it was good. So what was good about it?
No, I didn't say that. If you turn your brain off, you can enjoy it.
I don't want to speak out of turn, but I believe you said it was the best Trek that you've seen, like on par with Star Trek 3 or even Star Trek 4.
Never said that at all.
I think you said that you would die on that hill.
Nope, never, not once.
Never, not once. Yeah. You may have even said one of the reasons why.
Because I know he's got the finger on the button, is be sure to check out. No? Oh, okay. I thought he was going to cut me off. So